Hello, welcome to Cull the Weak Card Talk. I'm Brobnar89.
I'm Chaka.
And today we're going to be looking at an action card called Honor's Keysis. This is a rare. It has an amber pip on it, and it reads, play, forge a key at +7 current cost, reduced by 1 for each card you have played this turn, including this one. If you do, purge Honor's Keysis. This looks pretty neat. It's not always going to fire in every deck, but you definitely get the sense that there are lots of ways that you could play at least 5 or 6 cards and then have enough to forge for pretty cheap.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting card. It has a similar vibe to Data Forge. Data Forge just looks at the hand count, whereas this card, you actually need to play the card. So there's an additional limitation, like some Data Forge decks, you could archive a house that you didn't like and then put Data Forge in there as well. And then eventually at the end of the game, you take your archives and play Data Forge and just win. With this, you want to play a lot of Logos cards at the same time, but usually you're not archiving Logos when you play Logos. Like generally you archive other houses. So I think this could pair well with a card that lets you draw a lot. So perhaps you had a big setup with Mind Over Matter and a Logos board, like you use it and then you archive everyone, then you play this card. A lot of the big archive/draw cards are rares, so it will be harder to find it with Honor's Keysis here.
Yeah, but there are lots of ways to play more cards or gather more cards in your hand in this set. The Reckless Experiment is in this set that lets you play off the top of your deck. The SLRS, the artifact that lets you play up to 3 cards from the top of your deck, is in this set. There's the library card is in this set. Mind Over Matter is in this set. Zizzy is in this set. There are just lots of ways to get more cards into your hand that you're going to be able to play.
But let's see how many cards you need to play to turn it into Key Charge. So Key Charge is just forge at +1. If you play 5 cards, because there's the pit, which takes it down to 6, and then 5 more cards, you're basically at Key Charge.
Right.
So if you have a full Logos hand, you're getting a Key Charge from hand, which is nice. You could also pair it with the common Science, which gives you an amber pip after you play an action card. I don't think you get the pip until the effect is finished. So hopefully you have a bunch of other actions in your hand.
Right.
If you get a phase shift going, that's pretty neat. So you could phase shift into Waste Not, which is an untamed card that lets you blow up a creature and then you draw cards equal to half its power. And then you can play more stuff. And if you have multiple phase shifts, each one you play is actually 2 cards because you play a card out of house.
Yeah, that's a good point. So there's lots of ways that you'll be able to draw and hope to get enough. I think sometimes you're going to want to gamble on Honor's Keysis, right? Trigger that library card, play cards next to that Flea, and just hope that you get up to enough cards played that you can forge.
Yeah. One thing I also just noticed is you have to be careful the order in which you play this, because it looks like the effect is not optional. So you don't want to get in a situation where you paid too much for the key because you had to forge with Honor's Keysis.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It's also interesting that this appears in the set together with Data Forge. It would be very strange to get a deck with both Data Forge and Honor's Keysis, and you could definitely see the right deck being able to pull off both in one turn.
Oh yeah, you would set it up in a similar way. And like if you played Data Forge, Science, then a bunch of other stuff. You're potentially cheating 2 keys in 1 turn. No memory chip in the set, which I think would be the number 1 facilitator of this combo. It is a bit harder to archive specific cards in Dark Tidings.
Yeah, there's more random archiving.
Right. Like Hide and Vellum, actually, their stock may go up because they can target archiving, but that's another rare. So it's going to be a little bit more challenging to archive the cards that you actually want to archive in this set. So I think Honor's Keysis can go off. I'm seeing it right now as a little less consistent than a good Data Forge setup, but I think unlike Data Forge, like this will have a chance of going off in most decks. Like I think some decks Data Forge just never work.
Right.
And so it's more polarized. Like some decks Data Forge works like all the time, and other decks it never works. I think Honors Keysis is more of a spectrum where like you'll be able to forge for 9 or something, I think pretty reliably, which can win you the game.
Definitely. All right, well that's Honors Keysis. Definitely looks like a interesting card. This is Card Talk, and we will see you tomorrow for another look at another card.